No, it's a nice little start. That's a little teaser. I don't think we should. Just look out for more on that. On witches fitting through
They'll
windows.
Be coming. It's a fun thing. But shit, man, you excited for the game later?
Oh, fuck yeah, dude. Like, you know me, we talk about it all the time. Like, unless it's like a really big game, I don't get up for it that often. Like, I'll be like, I'll put it on if I can. But if, like, there's other stuff I gotta do, there's, like, not a chance in hell that I'm gonna, like, pick watching the game. But now we're at that point where it's like, fucking phone notifications off. Everybody leave me the fuck alone. I'm putting this game on, and, like, there's nothing that's gonna fucking stop me from watching it. And I really hope we win. I'm not a football analyst. I'm a little bit nervous about this game, though. I gotta admit, I'm not coming in with a bunch of confidence. How are you feeling?
Well, like, honestly, I don't know. Like, because we're playing the Rams, right?
Yep.
I don't like. I really only follow Packer games, and so I don't really know a whole lot about the Rams. I mean, obviously they must be doing well if they're making the playoffs. But yeah, like I have faith in the my boys in the green and or green and gold is. I don't know why it took me so long to say that. But
your boys, you seem to not know very much about your boys. You don't even know what color.
My boys in the green and blue, turquoise. What is it?
What are they? What's the name of the team again?
The Plackers. I think they're sponsored by that floss company.
The Plackers and the orangish yellow kind of.
Really good.
Yeah. Well, I was just trying to like the color of some really nasty plaque there, Oof. But yeah. So the one thing I know about them is they've got a really good cornerback, Jalen Ramsey, who's like shut down every number one receiver all year, and all we really got is Devontae. I mean, look at what fucking what's his face did dropping that ball the other week.
He did. MVS did so good for a few games. Yeah, Marquez Valdes-Scantling. He did surprisingly good for a few games, and then when he dropped that one, the last game, I was like, oh, there he is.
Although it wasn't as bad. You say you really only watched the Packers, so I don't know if you watched the Bears playoff game last weekend, but oh my gosh, beautiful ball into the fucking end zone. And it's coming right into the breadbasket, like overhead, right into dude's arms. And he literally just whiffs it. Like his arms just miss the ball, and it just goes straight through. And I swear, it's the most Bears thing I've seen all year, and it just made me so happy because fuck the Bears.
I mean, I try not to be too hypercritical. I mean, like, it is irritating, obviously, when these people are at a level to, they're making millions of dollars to play this specific game and this specific part in the game. When they fuck up, so just, blatantly just whoops. But, I mean, all the same, I just put myself in that scenario. Like, I only played, 1 year freshman football, and I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. Like, yeah, I was a right tackle, and it was just like, block that guy. I was like, okay, you got it, boss. But,
well, and really, I think in a lot of those plays, it honestly comes down to the simplest, like, human nature sort of thing, where... like, it's so locked in, going to happen. You're already thinking about it happening before it actually is over, because you always see these dudes who make these incredibly focused catches, and you're like, how did they do that? And then the next play is super easy, and they drop it, and I just think it is. It's just your brain like, of course I'm going to catch this ball, and you're already thinking, the analysts talk about it. They're like thinking about running with the ball before they actually caught the ball, and
sure.
Yeah, you can't be hypercritical. I mean, imagine if everything we did, like every time we worked, it was being broadcast to millions of people who just had free reign to then criticize us.
Oh, yeah. It's like, I just picture, like, there's a camera in my truck cab, and it's like, oh, he missed the turn! What an idiot.
You fucking idiot. I would never miss a turn if I was doing that. What the hell that happened? Like, you pull a bag of dog food out of the back of the truck, and it gets, like, hung up and ripped on something for some reason. Oh, fucking idiot. You fucking... both hands. Use both hands. Come on, Matt. You gotta know to do that. And meanwhile, there's like 300-pound jacked motherfuckers running at you, trying to take you to the ground while you're doing all this at the same. Let's just throw that in there on top of it. Not so. I guess it doesn't sound so easy, but it is. I mean, it's what makes sports fun, though. To laugh about our rivals and get way too emotional about shit. I mean, gotta love it.
Oh yeah,
I know I do.
I mean, you're definitely more of the sports guy than I am, but all the same, like as far as the NFL goes, my two favorite teams, obviously the Packers are number one, but my second favorite team is the Bills. Just because I like an underdog. And I'm real excited. Like, can you imagine if it's a Packers-Bills Super Bowl? How insane that would be? Like, I wouldn't, like...
Hell yeah.
Of course I'd still want the Packers to win, but, I wouldn't be upset either way.
Yeah, I mean, I will say I think that's easier said than done, like, before we've gotten there. But I do kind of agree. Like, at least, it's one of those where you're like, well, at least we lost to them, you know? And yeah, I really like the Bills, just because they're kind of in a, like, now Green Bay is so much smaller than any other city, like, by fucking, I think it's like 10 times smaller than even, like, the next smallest NFL city. Mm-hmm. But I get Buffalo, it gives me a Green Bay feel, you know? I feel like they're kindred spirits as well, you know? So I like that. I'm with you. That'd be good.
For sure.
Plus, I mean, they lost 4 in a row in the 90s. Like, could you imagine? Having to live through that shit?
Yeah. That would... I would be burning, like, local businesses down at that point. Like, God damn.
I was in a store the other day.
Go ahead.
Right? Yeah, they're mad all the time. Yeah. They don't give a shit what happens. But yeah, I was in this store the other day, and I was talking about football with the guy working, and he asked me who I rooted for. I told him the Packers, and he goes, "Oh yeah, well, I'm a Broncos fan," and it immediately brought 12-year-old me just crushed, losing to the Broncos, you know, and he's like, yeah, and we're the same age too, and I'm like, yeah, man, that destroyed me for like months, and it still bothers me thinking about it, so... So I'm like, I think if we get there and lose it, I actually think I'm going to be pretty bummed out. Not as bummed out as a 12-year-old, but I'll be pretty bummed out.
Speaking of sports, are monster trucks, is that sports? Maybe. Probably
That's not. Sports. That's a segue. Let's go with it.
But I just found myself earlier this afternoon, like, it just, you know how something will just catch your eye scrolling through YouTube or whatever, and I haven't watched anything to do with like monster trucks or anything. I love demo derbies and stuff as a kid, but it's just like top 5 Monster Jam, tricks and like all like it's like, oh, I haven't thought about this in forever. And I was watching the driver was Lee O'Donnell. It didn't really say the name of his truck. It said Mad Scientist on the side, but I think that was like the competition they were in. Maybe I don't know. But, like 2017 doing the first...
I don't know, Mad Scientist kind of sounds like a monster truck name.
Yeah.
The Mad Scientist. And it probably had, like, beakers on the side of it with, like, green stuff coming out, you know, like, right?
Yeah.
I'm just guessing.
I mean, yeah, it very well could be. I know the driver was Lee O'Donnell, did the first, like, successful front flip in, like, monster truck history a few years ago, and I thought that was kind of cool. Just like being
how is that even possible?
He launched off of this one jump, landed and bounced, and then he landed on his back tires and then gunned it into another jump, and that launched him over himself, and it was pretty intense.
Holy fuck!
Yeah, it's actually pretty sweet, but
that's awesome.
Yeah, I feel like a real American this morning, just like. Monster trucks, fuck yeah! Like I would never go to any of those shows ever. But I'm sitting here on my living room couch, to be like, oh yeah, this is what it's all about.
Yeah.
But I also had.
I'm just surprised you don't have Budweiser. You should really be drinking Budweiser if you're going to be watching monster trucks.
No. I'm a Milwaukee boy. I need the Miller, but
yeah, but it's monster trucks, man. You know, when in Rome. When in Biloxi, Drink Budweiser.
When in Branson, Missouri, drink Budweiser. But, or is it, no, it's Branson. I did the Simpsons joke by mistake. It's Branson, Missouri. But there's that whole Simpsons thing with, like, is this Branson, Missouri? No, this is Branson, Missouri. It's like everyone looks like Charles Bronson. Hey, Ma, can I have a piece of candy? No dice. But,
for the 70-year-old listeners in our audience.
Oh, come on, it ain't that old. But I did have the thought while
Email loosestoolpodcast@gmail.com if you know who Charles Branson is.
Well, no one knows who Charles Branson is because he doesn't exist. and
See,
plus,
now I just did the same thing. Oh, and nobody knows what Branson, Missouri is because that doesn't exist. Fucking dick.
But all the same, I was watching that and like
you literally just fucked up your words. That's how we arrived here. I fucked up my words, and then you hate on me for it.
Nah,
that's some bullshit. That's some bullshit.
It ain't hate. I'm just giving you shit. But
I'm just saying.
But it does.
Way to deflect. I just want to call. Matt said Branson, Missouri, and he did it on accident.
I'm telling. But watching them, like, granted, there's the cool clips like that where they're doing the crazy ass flips and corkscrews and jumps and all that shit. But when they're just like kind of driving around and just skidding in circles around this track, I did have the thought that it's kind of like a dog show in a way, but like on a way bigger scale. Because they're just like, I'm going to go over here and wag my ass, and then I'm going to run over this and go over this jump. It's like, it is kind of, it has a similar feel, but way more rednecky.
Is it like are you thinking like dog agility? Like when they run the ramps and go through like the tubes and stuff? Or do you literally mean like, yeah. Like I was thinking at first like the pedigree, dog show with all the like, the Thanksgiving thing or whatever. It's not pedigree, but you know what I'm talking about. Yeah,
well, also just watch.
I was actually watching that on. Oh, go ahead.
I was just saying, like there is points where they'll like flip over and then like they're still gunning the tires, so they're like just wagging back and forth like on their side or upside down in the dirt, and it's totally like a dog does if you just let them run out in the front yard.
They're like slipping on like a kitchen floor or something, like sliding around and they go running too fast. Yeah, heck yeah. Well, I was just going to say before there that I actually did find myself watching the dog show, the National Dog Show this past Thanksgiving. I'd never watched it before, never cared, but like now that I work with dogs, it was like hit me so much differently that anytime like I'm just seeing all these like, oh my gosh, look at the personality on this guy. Like look at that dog. Oh, that's a beautiful. I'm like, oh my god, I'm turning into the equivalent of a cat lady. I'm just gonna be a dog dude.
Stool with Matt Nic.
Did you see earlier this week that I know we're keeping it fairly politics free as we laid it on kind of thick last week, but do you see Louis Gohmert's tooth fall out in the middle of his speech earlier this week?
I heard about that. And I didn't look into it, so yeah, I'd like to hear more about this story because I never researched it, but I keep hearing about Gohmert's tooth. So I was excited when I saw this in your notes. Actually, if I'm going to be show behind the scenes a little bit,
yeah, it ain't. I mean, like it's not like a huge story. It's just hilarious that he's standing there just talking a bunch of shit about House Democrats and the whole like second impeachment trial and everything. And right in the middle of it, one of his teeth, you see it like someone zoomed in because it's easy to miss. But like someone zoomed in and like in the middle of two words, one of his molars just like almost falls completely out of his mouth. And then like he like stops and closes his mouth and like he tucked it into his gums or something and then just keeps talking. And I was just like, was Trump's reign of power his Horcrux, like his last remaining Horcrux, and now his body's just deteriorating. Like soon his face is just going to be like that scene in Poltergeist or like Raiders of the Lost Ark where it just starts melting off of his skull.
That's exactly the thought I was going with. Is like these people have touched evil so much. They've like gotten so in bed with evil that they're just melting and like they're falling apart. You know, that